Your dream life, yes, it can actually become a reality. But getting there takes work and planning and usually money. So how do you get your assets to generate cash flow for you so you can quit your corporate job and actually go live the life you want to live? That's what we're talking about today. And be sure to stay tuned because I have a secret little tool that not a lot of people know about that can actually help you acquire that asset if you don't already have it. And I will tell you how I used it to get ours. So if you really are dreaming of quitting the corporate job and living the life of your dreams, that's what we talk about here. So I invite you to subscribe and go ahead and hit that notification bell because that way you will be alerted every time a new video comes out every week. Welcome to The Freedom Strategy. My name is Heather and I am here to help you turn your dreams into reality. And today we are talking about using the assets you have or acquiring assets that you need to generate cash flow to make that dream a reality. And I will tell you about how we have done this with, yes, a sailing catamaran. So that's kind of cool and interesting, but all of this applies to whatever your future dream is. And I'll show you how that catamaran is actually generating an income for us. So when we're ready, we can hit the high seas because, yes, I am Moana. All right, so how do you actually get an asset and make that asset generate some cash flow for you? Well, okay, stick with me for this first tip because it's a little bit on the foofy side, but I will get to the hardcore strategic ones in just a second. But my first tip to you is don't ever give up on the dream, even if it kind of blows up in your face. Stick with it. If it's important to you, you'll find a way and it will happen. Just never lose sight of what is important to you. Keep it right here and keep taking baby steps to make it happen and have a little bit of faith that yes, things can turn out the way you want them to. Okay, enough of that. Let's get to the actual steps to take to get the asset, turn it into cash flow. Now, the first thing that I would recommend is to determine what is it that is holding you back now. Why can't you quit that corporate job tomorrow and have that dream life that you are after? Well, for most people, including us, it's either it's the wrong timing because of other obligations, or it's I don't have enough money to do it, or actually, most commonly, it's both of those things. And figuring out how to use your assets to help merge those two and allow you to quit that job and move forward with what you really want to do. Well, there are ways to get there, and that really is to use those assets to generate cash. So let me just give you an example. As I mentioned, we purchased a catamaran to help move us forward in this dream of sailing around the world. So for us, the primary thing right now holding us back is timing. It's just not the right time for us. We have some family obligations and we will not be able to actually set sail for probably 2 to 3 years. Now, if timing is one of your hurdles, a little side tip is put on your phone a countdown timer to the day. Literally pick a day, even if it's 3 years ahead. Pick a day to where this dream can actually come true for you. I do this all the time. If it's something that is important to me, I have these countdown timers, they count down. What it does is it keeps that dream front and center in your head. You look at that timer, it gives you a little bit more motivation, a little bit more excitement. I've had a lot of things that I've had on countdown timers that I've really looked forward to, and it's fun and exciting to count down those days. So put a countdown timer on your phone. Goes back to point number 1, and that is always stay focused on your dream and what is important to you. Yes, timing is a factor for us. Yes, I do have a countdown timer on my phone, but how are we bridging that hurdle of the time? Well, during this time, while we are planning our future to go sail around the world, we happen to come across our dream catamaran. So we purchased it ahead of when we actually thought we were going to because we decided to use that asset to make money for us. And don't worry, I'm going to get to the secret tool that will help you buy that asset. It is how we did it the first time. So we now use our catamaran in charter and people rent it out and have a wonderful time. And if you're interested in doing that, I will put a link to where we have it in charter. And it actually does generate money for us. So That is how we are bridging this time gap and also generating an income. So I am very interested in you guys, and this will help me put out future content that will be helpful to you. Is your stumbling block timing, or is it money, or is it both? Put in the comment below which it is, timing, money, or both, and I will generate future videos that will hopefully help you guys out. Now, let's get to the part about how to acquire the asset if you don't already have it. We have been doing this for a while. Let me give you a couple of other examples. Like I said, we have the catamaran. We're generating an income putting it in charter, but we've also done other things. About 10 years ago, we purchased a couple of rental properties. They were long-term rental properties, and we purchased them and used those properties to also generate an income. In addition to that, we also bought a vacation rental property, and that is a short-term rental. I'm going to put this video up here. It's actually pretty old, but it's still really relevant and very good about how to do vacation rental by owners or Airbnb. That is what we have done, and we still do, and that is a separate asset that we use to generate an income for after our boat trip. We will go retire at the cabin that we use as a vacation rental right now, and it will have way more than paid for itself. So those are just some example. Whatever your dream is, your goal, it could be RVing, anything like that. All of this information applies to whatever that asset may be. All right, so what if you don't just have a pile of cash to go buy the asset? There is this tool that I keep hinting about, and now I'm actually going to tell you what it is. Now, it is called a rollover business startup, and what it is for, and there's very specific people that this will apply to. If you have a retirement account, a teaching retirement fund, or a 401k or an IRA, you can actually use that money and roll it over into this structure called ROBS, and I will put a link to the information below. But to sum it up, what this structure does, it allows you to use your retirement funds. You don't have to use them all. And before anybody starts putting all these negative comments down below, I will say, this strategy is not for everybody. So who's it for? It is for people who want to effectively start their own business. And then you use the asset that you buy in order to generate an income. So there are a couple of ways you can do this. A lot of you are going to be familiar with what's called a self-directed IRA. I also have one of those. That is where you are in control of your own retirement funds. You can do traditional things like buy stocks and bonds, and you can even buy Bitcoin if you want to now. Or you can also buy investment property. All of that is true, and you can do that with your traditional self-directed IRA. That is not what I am talking about here. What I am talking about is people who want to quit their corporate job and actually earn an income and pay themselves with their own retirement money and not have a penalty. I probably should have said that earlier. There is no penalty involved, even if you're not 59 and a half. So how does it work? It is for people who want to use that retirement money and build a business that generates an income, and with that income, you can actually pay yourself as an employee of the business. That is what we do. So we have a catamaran that generates an income. I am effectively the manager of that asset, and let me be clear, it is a legitimate business. It is a real business. It is up for charter. We are making money on it, and I pay myself as an employee. Now, to be clear, I do have to pay income tax on the income I pay myself, but there was no penalty to use these funds. But also in using it this way, we are not subjecting it to the normal taxes that would incur when you take your money out of your 401k. Now, when we eventually take that money out of the asset, we will at that time have to pay whatever taxes are applicable. But again, there will not be a penalty associated with it. So I hope that's clear. Just to summarize, this ROBS structure, it is complex. I do recommend going through an organization that can help walk you through the process. I personally have used Guidant Financial. I will put the link for their information below. I have been very, very, very happy with them. They have done an amazing job, and I do invite you to email me if you are interested in this, because I can give you a lot more detail on it. Heather@thefreedomstrategy.com, and I am happy to answer your questions even if you are the naysayer out there that thinks that this is not the best idea, I would also like to chat with you. So that is the secret structure that you can use to turn your already hard-earned retirement money into an asset that becomes a business to generate an income for you, and that way you can quit your corporate job. So if the hurdles that you are trying to leap are not quite the right time and don't quite have enough money, this could be a great solution for you. If you do have that pile of cash and you're kind of figuring out what to do, but you're not quite ready to go out there and quit your corporate job, these ideas are also a great transition. Get an asset or use your asset to generate some cash flow while you're getting all your ducks in a row. The wonderful thing about the way that we have set it up is, as I told you, we have our catamaran right now making money because we can't quite go get on it. But we also have our primary house that we deliberately chose to be low maintenance in a good location. So when we actually do go get on the catamaran, our house will rent out and that will also generate an income. So no matter which asset we are on, we will be generating an income on the other asset. Again, this does take planning. It does take time. It does take work, but it can happen. And it can happen sooner than you expect. So do not give up. Do not just throw your hands up and say, oh my gosh, that just seems so complicated and is so far away. It's really not. I am here to help you step by step by step go through that process. I do invite you to put comments below. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer them. Just don't wait until the timing is perfect, because it's a little bit like having a baby. It's never a perfect time, and trust me, I've had 5. I know these things. If this video is helpful to you on how to get the ball rolling for quitting your corporate job and starting the life of your dreams, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time on The Freedom Strategy.